In this lesson, I want to tell you a little bit about the Dendro plugin in Grasshopper. It's useful. It allows us to create volumes from points. Look, to start working in Dendro, we need to create a box with points. Just as an example. To create it, we'll first double-click the left mouse button. That is, double-click in an empty area here in Grasshopper. Click, click, and this kind of search panel appears. Let's type in 50. It will suggest number slider to us. Click on it. Again, double click, and this time type in box. In the search bar, I'm used to Mac, so I press Ctrl and space. Box. There it is, enter box. And let's connect the slider. We'll just grab the little ball and start connecting balls to balls. Click, click, click. There! Now let's double click again and type in pop 3D, populate 3D to fill our box with points. We select A. A stands for region, meaning what to fill. We can connect our box. There, it's filled. Now let's specify the number of points. In this case, it's 15. 15. Selection. And let's connect VN. There, a box filled with points. And let's use volume from points V points, which stands for volume from points. For this example, population. There is a populate 3D output. Let's connect it to points, the input of V points. Click. Let's specify the radius. Let's do that. The radius of the spheres around each point. Let's imagine it's try 15. 15. And in S, the settings for voxel size and so on. Here's create settings. Let's take the block into settings. Let's connect settings right here. There are various parameters here. Voxel size, as I mentioned, is the size of a voxel, meaning one square, and all sorts of other parameters. Here they are. Let's try changing the spheres. And look at how everything fills in right here. Now, all of this can be hidden. It populates everything. Just like that. Let's try adjusting the voxel size a bit. Let's try adjusting it a bit. Look, right now it's not very detailed. We can raise or lower it. If we lower, the detail increases. If we raise it, it decreases. Let's set it somewhere around here. Right now, it's pretty faceted. But we'll use volume to mesh to turn the volume into a mesh. Volume settings. We get a mesh. Let's hide everything here. Let's try adding a custom preview. Custom preview. There, pop! Everything became shiny like this. And let's try changing radius. I'll talk about a similar plugin that does this kind of thing with the spherescent. Not just spherescent, a separate video. But for now, we'll continue working with Dendro. For example, I created this little thing. These are just curves. Let's see what happens if we apply multipipe to them. MP multipipe peak! And let's set it higher too. Multipipe is supposed to make tubes like this. The tubes turned out with unsmooth connections. What if we join all the curves? Join. Peak! Peak! Still the same. Now let's try Dendro. We'll leave the slider at 10 and move it inside the square. We take Dendro, and here we use curve to volume, set the radius slider to 10, select this curve, and in settings, again create settings. All that stuff. See how the transitions look now? This time, they're all much smoother, and there are no tubes left inside. Let's try changing the number of voxels. 12. That is the voxel size. Smaller. There we go. At 6, everything turned out like this. Well, I wouldn't say smooth, but Kiteto, you see these transitions? Weak! Weak! You can make the voxels even smaller. Like this. This is just a good connection of tubes. With the help of this kind of plugin, I connected many different winding structures like this, grown using Grasshopper. It was simply impossible to connect them using multipipe. I think this is the optimal option. Such smooth transitions, weak, and there are hardly any defects. Dendro can also, in fact, generate or create a completely new mesh from an existing mesh, thereby providing even more flexibility and control. Let's try this now. This faceted cylinder here is an example for the mesh to volume function to turn a faceted cylinder into a volume and back. Pick, mesh to volume, mesh. Let's add settings. 5 is approximately the voxel size. Pound. And let's do the magic transformation. Volume to mesh, back again. Pick. Let's see what we get. Custom preview. And here's what we get. We can try changing the voxel size parameter. Such an unusual shape. I wonder what the geometry looks like here. Mesh edges. To take a look at the geometry. The geometry is unpredictable, I would say, but that's not particularly scary. That's what we get. Weak. This is high precision. Such a precise little cylinder. This is lower. I've told you the basics. This was Robert F. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. And goodbye to everyone.